Call the Premiership stalwart about to play his final game before retirement, and he is part of Alex Sanderson's 23 for one last time, having been on a tour of clubs after his days at Wasps came to an end. 15 years a player, pulling on his boots for the 223rd and final time in the league. George Ford may not be playing again yet, but his voice has been a big part of Sale's preparations this week. And another former Tiger, Manu Tuolangi, back involved after recovering from a nasty bang to the face. It's him and a returning Sam James in midfield. Hooker Aka van der Merwe is fit again as well after pulling out in the warm-up last weekend against Newcastle. He has come through this evening's warm-up. Well, Richard Wigglesworth opting not to overcomplicate his selection this evening. Just a couple of changes to the 23 he picked for his first game in charge against Gloucester. Freddie Burns dropping to the bench to create room for Handré Pollard, the South African World Cup winner, about to start a game in Tiger stripes for the first time. Anthony Watson continues to settle in very nicely in his first season at the club. He was instrumental in last weekend's win against Gloucester, scoring a couple of tries. Ollie Cracknell is at number 8 with Jasper Wiese given the night off. Leicester also getting into the game without Julio Montoya. Charlie Clare is the hooker tonight. Benny, the head-to-heads.
Well, there's a former England number 5. He'll be keeping a stern eye on the two number 5s today. Johnny Hill against Ollie Chesser, both gunning for that England place ahead of the Six Nations. Fascinating battle, particularly at the line-out for these two men.
And some really good matchups in the back line. Looking forward to seeing the two South Africans go head-to-head at 10, Dupree and Pollard. But as we said in the build-up, this could be about the 12s. Is it an audition to who's going to wear the England 12? Who knows? But Tuolangi has got to carry better. He's got to find that form that we all know is within him. And Kelly just needs to keep doing what he's doing because he looks very special.
Yeah, he does. Leicester reuniting that partnership that served them so well last season in red. Tonight, Guy Porter and Dan Kelly, there they are, arm in arm. Into the second half of the season under new management. The most decorated player in English club rugby who started his career in this dressing room. Well, not exactly this one, because they were playing at different stadiums back then, but a Wigglesworth career that began with Sale. Now Leicester's boss. Very much Richard Wigglesworth's Tigers, these, and Hanro Liebenberg's Tigers as well. The captain, man of the match winning performance against Gloucester on Christmas Eve. Not a good record here. Only won once in the last 8 years in the English Northwest. It's 4 years ago, May 2018. Lots of talk before the match about how they want to put things straight this evening. And they are nearing the end of a year that'll go down as one of the greatest, perhaps most remarkable in Leicester's long history, given where they were. From nowhere men to relegation fodder to Premiership champions, the kind of form that attracts the world's best. And zipping up the boss's coat, a new experience for Richard Wigglesworth. And now back into the top 4 for the first time since the start of the season, since the early weeks. And how about this? For one of the game's good guys, and for his wife Emily, and for his daughter Matilda, here to watch husband and father go out at the top. For lots of us, it's hard to remember a time when Joe Simpson wasn't part and parcel of all this, all those years with Wasps, but this is it, his final game before retirement, and all of us, I'm sure, wish him all the very best tonight and all the very best for the future. He's a good bloke, Oz, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I was asking if he had anything to go on to. Was it a job that made his decision? He said, no, I just want some time. I just want some time to judge what I'm going to do next. It was a really balanced response, not forced into anything, on his own terms. It's a luxury in the modern game to be able to do that. And he looks pretty happy in his family, doesn't he?
It's a critical time as well, Benny, isn't it? Without getting all Craig and this morning about it, when your first children come along, life changes and priorities change.
Absolutely, and to spend a bit more time with them as well, you know, not just that time during the week, but also at weekends, you know, disappearing off and missing out on some of the special time, particularly when they start school. So, as Austin said, really nice to be able to do it on his own terms.
Sorry, Craig, it's a great show. watch it, ITV, around coffee time every morning. I don't know whether Matthew Carley's a fan, but he's with us tonight. Greg McDonald, Peter Allen with the flags. TMO is Claire Hodnett. And it's so good to see this place full. Perfect way for the rugby folk of the Northwest and the champions to say goodbye to 2022. Sale in the blue, Leicester in the red. Leicester have kicked off, and that's a very smart start from Watson. Getting to the ball first of all, and that was all about the quality of the kickoff and then the quality of the chase.
Really good, comes from that blind angle. You see starting a little bit further over to this side and cuts through the traffic. Not sure it was spotted by James that he was coming. Might have got up a little bit higher, really reached for the ball had he seen him.
You often see in these scenarios, guys, that if you get a right wheel, you can come around this side, but when you're defending, as you can see on the far side with just 2 defenders, if you can get a really flat pass, and you've only just started playing for Leicester Tigers, to Pollard, it's an automatic 3-on-2. It's exactly what you want. If you can go left from this scrum, then you've got a really good attacking opportunity, but there's probably going to be a penalty anyway, so that'll be a big positive actually for Dorian West and everyone else involved in the set piece at Sale after what happened last week.
Frustration written big letters on Dan Cole's face, Ben.
Yeah, but you know when it's been a big talking point for a team all week, when every single back comes in to celebrate a scrum penalty, they know how important this is. Alex Sanderson would have been talking about it all week. They've got the first big victory.
Wait, Reds, wait!
Ball kept in play.
Into a strong win, Leicester. You saw the ball hold up there.
Gus Waugh. And to Ben Curry, the captain tonight. A couple of Currys involved. Tom Curry returning, Ben Curry there as well. A couple of Dupreers as well. Rob Dupreer at 10 and Jean-Luc Dupreer at 8. And Manu Tuolangi in midfield for Sale. McIntyre waits. Dupreer. Curry was offering himself.
Sale players doing an awful lot of that, the ball out of the back to Rob Dupreer in the warm-up. Expect to see a fair bit of it if they can get Leicester biting in on the tackles.
And the kick from Waugh. Expecting to see Rafi Quirk, by the way, in the next few weeks. He's recovered from the wrist injury, the wrist operation. I think they're targeting Europe in a fortnight or so's time, but Gus Waugh has been starting an awful lot, as you'd expect, and doing very well in the Premiership this season.
Really quick delivery from the base in terms of the speed of his pass. Sometimes a little bit slow, Sale in moving that ball initially, but his actual speed of pass, very, very good for Rob Dupreer.
It'll feel like a brand new team, won't it, when George Ford is available, then they've got Rafi Quirk as well. It'll then be interesting to see how interested Steve Borthwick is in either, of course, with the Six Nations not far away. Backwards off the outstretched hands of Reid, Aaron Reid.
Hold. Use it!
Johnny Hill looks interested. Instead it goes behind him to Dupreer, who puts the wiper in across the pitch. Caught by Van Poortvliet. This features such an important part of October's game at Welford Road. Win for Sale, first time in a long time that Leicester had been beaten at home in the Gallagher Premiership. More kicking, more athleticism. Yeah, Harry Potter decided that he wanted to keep it in play and then gets the bounce. Oz.
Yeah, just looking at what Ben was talking about, this ball out the back from Sale and actually biting in. If you watch Whitcomb here highlighted, just by biting in on the outside runner, he creates more space. I think this is what Ben was talking about. They don't execute it here, Sale, but look what it does to defensive line. There's a really big pocket there for a winger or someone with a bit of pace to go through. And that's where you've got to be really careful as the third defender, that you don't close your outside shoulder.
How do you defend that, though, knowing that that might be a live option?
You've just got to stay alert, haven't you? You've got to be able to, the outside guy doesn't need to bite in that. He needs to stay and be there, but he can't commit to the big hit. The problem Leicester have is they like to make those big dominant tackles.
It was an interesting kick from Dupreer, nicely taken by Watson. A little bit of ambition to get it away that didn't quite pay off, and Then a hoofing kick from a big hoofer. This one might be a bit more cultured. Let's see. Rob de Preer. Jack Van Portfleet. Ben Young's on the bench tonight.
Oh, he's got that. That's a 50.
Yes. That'll do.
Ball stand from a bit of an interchange. Great catch, wasn't it, from Anthony Watson. Gets up over the ball. This is a really good take. Look over the shoulder. Then watch Sam James comes in there. That intercept is really important because Leicester are about to keep offloading. Porter gets that. He's away.
Going to talk a lot about England, and Steve Borthwick will be naming his first Six Nations squad in the opening fortnight of the new year. We're expecting
really big gap.
31,
on,
maybe
please.
32 names mid-January. Borthwick here tonight.
Can you come, please, Leicester?
I just wonder what role Anthony Watson might play in his thoughts. It's been a while since he's been an England regular, but when we've seen him, he's certainly been playing well over the last few months. Chesson, another who may well feature in those plans. Van Portfleet took it on. Liebenberg. There's James Whitcomb. Dad Martin played for both clubs. And Leicester, the first club tonight to be able to play with the ball in the opposition 22, but that's been stripped away. Andre Pollard was asking the question, and the officials agree.
Hearing the whistle. Good movement from Leicester at the previous line out. Here's the penalty.
Yeah,
James
he's not
just
tackling him.
slapping the
Penalty
ball.
only.
Didn't feel that it was an attempted rip. I think it was clear he was slapping on a forward motion. That's why Leicester get the penalty. But that man, Pollard, just looking to probe the back of the line out. Sale being a bit lazy. Van Portfleet coming through, just causing a few issues.
I think they thought they'd have a lot more room on that play. I'll show you in a sec. That's one of those things that you call thinking that you've seen it in the analysis, and then actually the picture that's presented to you on the field is completely different, but you still try and execute the play.
Decision off the penalty is to go for the line out. 6 metres out. Wells, the target. Charlie Clare re-engaging. No Montoya today, 3 Premiership tries so far. Clare's got 1 so far, hunting a second. There's another penalty coming.
Curry just pulling Liebenberg, changing his mind and then tackling him out of the back of the maul. Leicester had got set up really well there. Sale had lost McIntyre across around the outside, just trying to jam up, stopping Leicester coming into towards the posts. Leicester get another shot at it.
Just step off, the gap was fine on that line.
Spot for John O'Ross this evening.
Come up to a metre, please, Leicester.
Back after a breather. John O'Ross on the bench tonight. Cobus Wiese, a starter for Sale as well. No brotherly love this evening. Jasper Wiese sitting this one out for Leicester. Ordinarily he'd have been part of this drive. As it is, it's Clare who detaches and looks for some softish shoulders. Attack Rob de Preer. Still Leicester ball to play with, and Ollie Cracknell, the number 8 tonight. Pollard gives it some width. Bouncing ball needs to be swept up by Watson. He did really well to turn that back on the red side. Clare. All the way through for Dan Kelly, chopped down by Tom Curry. And another Leicester penalty. 3 in quick succession.
The first player drove through,
Ben Curry.
the second player in. Put the ball down.
Yeah, you just hear the referee explaining. Ben Curry. Ruck was already formed when he went over the top to lift it. Good initial response from Sale at this line out, much better than the first. Leicester just a bit hesitant. Sale right up in their faces.
That's the difference you're going to get with Pollard, though. He does throw a really nice outside pass, so you've got to get used to that. They will have done it in training, and they will have played, obviously, loads of little mini games with him in that 10 slot, but he's always thrown a really nice miss one. puts it out in front of you. So if you're a centre like Porter that used to like coming back towards the ball, maybe your mindset's got to be, do you know what, I want it on my outside shoulder, I want it on the outside, but with advancing defences, it's very difficult.
We've seen Pollard work so well with the likes of Damien Dialendi and co in a Springbok shirt. And Sale have it. A lot of hard work in the middle of all that, and it's Akker van der Merwe who gets up.
It was brilliant defence at the end, but watch at the beginning the hit here that comes in from the du Preez brothers and Wiese. That's what causes the chaos for Leicester. They're all upright at the front because of the quality of that first hit. They get a bit of momentum. Sale don't give up, but all those players have already owned the space and come through. They don't need to change their bind. They just wait for it all to start to unravel for Leicester. Leicester go to ground and they just plop on top. Really good defence, celebrated.
It is interesting, isn't it? More and more we're seeing clubs opt not to take what would appear to be an eminently kickable 3 points. Leicester have done it twice now to go for the line-out drive instead.
Yeah, 3 times. It's you can build a score. You get 3 of those, you've got 9 points. Simple maths. I had to explain it for Ben, but it's good to keep the scoreboard ticking over because the energy changes. As you saw then, Sale get that turnover, and all of a sudden they're right, even though they're only 10 metres from their own line, they're in the positive. Leicester now in the negative. I just watched Jean-Luc Dupree there. He hit that maul 3 times, and each time he hit it, he completely decimated it. The guy is an absolute machine.
The only counter to that, and I would have always been take the points and get that scoreboard rattling, but they've still got this field possession, Leicester. I know they haven't got the butt into the scrum, but you'd expect it to come back to them. You'd expect the play to stay in Sale's halves for a bit, just building that pressure on a team, not letting them get a foothold. You having more attacks earlier on in the game.
Oh, Leicester have the free kick. Sale up early, and Leicester take it quickly. Cracknell on the charge. I think there's a penalty coming as well now, and to your point, Benny, here we are.
Put the ball down.
This is a big call now. So they go for the corner again, turn the screw. If they don't, Sale probably think that's a mini win if they just lose 3 points.
Because of foul play by your team, so celebrating that is not appropriate. No, move away.
Just looking back to that first scrum, Nick. Then
there's a lot of penalties down here already. Yes. Okay. Please just be aware of the area of the field and the number that we're already on.
Can I say something? My only thing is they're for different things at the moment.
They are for different things. They are for
different
different things. So I'm just asking you to be aware and just speak to your team. Thank you.
I forgot what I was going to say, but the interesting thing, that scrum then, we're into these new interpretations, the law of the 30 seconds. That first scrum was 35 seconds, and that was after a prop had been down. So a prop went down, McIntyre went down for an injury. He then got up quite quickly, got straight back in position, and then was ready to scrum. So this is, I think that's going to be the most difficult one of the interpretation, along with the hand on the floor in the ruck, to really referee. Interesting to see how they all get on with it.
We heard Ollie Cracknell is heading off for an HIA, so Sean Jansen, the 23-year-old Kiwi, is preparing himself to come on. He will hope temporarily, so will Ollie Cracknell, but we need to get this checked.
Absolutely. And concern for Leicester with Wiese being injured as well. One thing Leicester have got at the moment is 3 very similar number 8s in terms of the style of play. Jansen, like for like here, same sort of ball carrier.
Well, the decision is to go for another line-out. Is that the 4th time that Leicester have opted not to go for the 3 points?
That's 12 potential points, Ben.
Well done, Oz. Can't believe you had to write it down and do your workings out.
Chesham gathers it, Clare goes in again, and once more Sale's hard-working defence goes to work. Clare pushing for all his worth, but Johnny Hill and co have done a brilliant job of getting themselves in the middle of all that. Johnny Hill all over the ball. Once again, Leicester line-out ball, Leicester maul ball, burgled.
Really, really good. They just need to get their exit right now, Sale, don't they? They can't afford to give Leicester another shot at the moment. They've got all the momentum there. Tails are up. Johnny Hill doing so well to come through the middle. See him break that by, and Whitcomb struggling and fighting with Schonert. Hill takes advantage, goes straight through the middle, gets onto the ball. Van Poortvliet can't get it out. But can they back it up with a big scrum now?
So 30 seconds we now have to set this scrum. It's been formalised. Laws that we were told were coming in on January the 1st, coming in a couple of days earlier, or at least across this New Year weekend. And this is the first match that we are really trying to speed things up. Leicester concede the penalty, so Sale can clear at their leisure. I'm not sure that that will count as an advantage.
He's going for the crossfield kick, wasn't he? Knew he had the advantage. Much better setup of the scrum from Sale. McIntyre just managed to get the hit on. Got a really good sink on Dan Cole, who was in a nice low position, but just as that sink of the hips came in, Cole just turned that right shoulder in.
Well, I know that that Alex Sanderson was looking forward to playing in front of Sale's biggest crowd of the season. What he didn't enjoy was the number of relatives and friends that he hasn't heard from for a month of Sundays coming out of the woodwork and badgering him for tickets. Even with his 50% staff discount, tonight has cost him a little bit.
It's got a big family. It's full, the stadium.
Friends and family. Curry to Tuolangi. Shackled by the new man, Janssen.
No lift on the ball.
Rob de Pree.
That's right, it's my fault.
Keeps it alive. Up she goes, and O'Flaherty chasing hard, and he did enough to put Stewart off.
Yes.
And then Stewart comes forwards.
Knock on advantage, Red.
Greg McDonald, the assistant referee on the far side. Peter Allen on our near side down below us.
Use it. Advantage over.
One of the things that George Ford was talking about when he addressed the Sale team at the start of the week was how important the kicking game would be tonight. It was at Welford Road, it is here.
Yeah, not the best kick, but Steve Borthwick will be keeping an eye on this man. This might be something we'll be seeing. England versus Wales, Curry against Rafael. It's a really good tackle initially from Rafael, but then how he shows a clear release, stays on the ball, clear release, attacks. But Curry knows him too well. This time it's Ben that comes in, clears him out. But you have to be really hot on Tommy Rafael. Long line of good Welsh jacklers. He might right well be the man wearing the red shirt at Cardiff in a few weeks' time.
And he's got his eye on Tuolangi here as well, very much in line to be the man who's charged with stopping him. There he is. Oh, he in the end got half enough on him, but it's a penalty. De Pree whips it away, and here's the fullback, Luke James, and Sale for the first time with some proper ball in hand, but O'Flaherty couldn't gather it. However,
this is for an early tackle, is it?
No, it's a tackle in the air.
Contact in the air.
Be interesting to see this. They set Manu up quite well. They spin out of the line out, give him ball early.
Just attempt to go side entry and just keep an eye.
Just a little touch in the air from the line out. But
Yeah, make sure we're not putting anyone.
I'm not sure about that. The ball was quite clean. It was won. They're talking about speeding up the game. And Sale do decide to take the 3.
well, this really would be a kick in the teeth for Leicester, wouldn't it? They've had 4 kickable shots at goal. They've turned all of them down. They've lost all of their possession from those line-outs, and first opportunity Sale and Rob de Pree get, they say, let's have a look at the post, please.
What do you think he was celebrating the injury? No, he's a prick as well.
I wonder what he would have done.
Yeah.
It is interesting to hear still, as you'd expect, how influential he's been around this place, even though he's not pulled on his boots in anger yet. We're hearing that He's not far away. End of January, beginning of February at the latest. Well, there may actually be a point where if he is called up again by England, that England see him before Sale see him.
If there's one player who's going to benefit the most from Steve Borthwick taking over, it's probably him.
Sale, first real sally into Leicester's 22, and they're 3 up, approaching the midway point of this first half. Rob Dupree, Sale 3, Leicester 0. Hearing as well that Ollie Cracknell has failed his HIA. Sean Jansen therefore with us for the rest of this contest.
Rob Dupree having a little giggle to himself. I don't think he meant the scuttler. They all count though.
Hold. Just take it in.
Loose kicks down that touchline. Just wonder whether the wind is pushing it towards that stand. Referee's flag when he was running did look that way slightly.
We're going to have a word with Alex Sanderson in a minute, so I'm sure he's much happier with the way the set piece has gone so far this evening. Here's another defensive line out to work with, taken by Liebenberg, but not for long. Leicester quickly into midfield, and Kelly, only his 3rd Premiership run out this season since a hamstring injury, and Sale are working so hard over the ball, and Curry wins it.
Yeah, really big turnover from Ben Curry. He's another one that needs to come into the conversation. We know Steve Borthwick might have a few more additions to his squad than Eddie Jones might have done because of a new coach coming in. It's been agreed he can make more changes, but the way he tracked, he knew exactly what Kelly was going to do. Kelly got his hands free, but they'd blocked the channels for the offload, and all those support players, Porter just got a slight knock on him, so just got knocked off the line. He would have run to make the clearance, but really well read from Ben Curry. Great jackal.
Aka van der Merwe and Johnny Hill. He's started impressively, Hill.
Happy with Cole there, Greg?
Yeah, just.
Sale front men got disconnected from the back, and Leicester think they're in. Dan Cole's in. Someone's round his neck.
Sale will get the scrum. Let's have a word with Al Sanderson. Al, from up here, your set piece looks a little bit better than it did a week ago. What are you seeing down there?
Yeah, pretty impressed really. How resolute we've been. 5 metres out, we've had to bar up a couple of times there, and we've got through them all. But as you can see, it's going to be a long night for it, because they're doing equally as well when it comes to our ball.
What's the key to defending Leicester's attacking line-out?
You've got to get first 4 heads in early, maybe take that first couple of metres off them so they don't get that little trundle on, that little bit of momentum, because they're very hard to stop once they get a few inches and they start turning the corner. So yeah, it's about body height, winning that shoulder battle, timing, and then leg drive thereafter.
Really interesting to see you having a natter with George Ford, and we get the impression that he's been a big part of what you've been about over the first half of the season, even without playing.
Yeah, he's been brilliant in terms of giving the boys belief. In particular, what we do with the ball, and backing ourselves when the time's right to do the right thing. Obviously, it gives us an insight into what Leicester's game plan was last year, and a lot of it's around kick meters, as you can see tonight. And we need to find a bit more space than what we are doing, rather than feeding some of their back three with the kickers they've got in the backfield. But he's a really top bloke. It's a pleasure to work with, and you'd hope on nights like tonight it might give you a little bit of an advantage.
I know you got a million friends and family here tonight. They'll be happy enough with what they've seen so far, won't they?
3-zip. If it finishes 3-zip, I think we'll all be happy. Yeah.
Cheers, Al.
Cheers, Nick.
To the second quarter of the game. Gus Ward taking a backward step before he heard the referee's whistle. Dan Cole earning half a metre.
Leicester not playing in that middle third. Couple of little phases, not going anywhere. Momentum taken out. They go immediately to the box. That one's not quite long enough.
Agree.
Pollard. Cute. The chase. And well read by Sam James at full stretch. And he wins the penalty because he was in the air when he was hit.
Ben Curry's rolling around in agony, clutching his left ankle. See him in the bottom of the screen there. Just turns his body really well there, Sam James, doesn't he, to say to the referee, look, I've owned the space. There's no way that... Absolutely no way that it's a fair competition. He's never going to get to the ball.
Just does not look good for Curry. He was just trying to advance in the line, and he went down straight away. Sort of movement where you fear for his Achilles.
We good? That's right. That's right.
Red boot and ankle being heavily taped.
There it
Have
is.
another look at how he did it.
He just steps back to go forward. That's normally how most people do their Achilles. Let's hope he's okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting collision, that, wasn't it? To be fair, Clare really does drop his height in the last second.
There's nothing. We saw Ben Earl being the red card being turned over from last week, similar where he was on his knee. There's no lower that Tom Curry could have gone there. It's Clare that's actually more dangerous by dropping the height, isn't it? The player's always going to do that when he feels under pressure. He's going to go as low as he can where he's strongest. Not a question that was going to be penalised.
We good, guys?
Ben Curry back in the huddle, having a chat with his brother. Plenty more rugby to hold our attention as we slip from one year into another. Final offering from the Gallagher Premiership in 2022. From Saracens tomorrow, Exeter in town. 2:30 BT Sport 2, and then first up 2023 Saints and Quins from the Gardens, New Year's Day, 2 o'clock on BT Sport 1, and the first rugby tonight of the year straight afterwards at tea time. Chewing over all the big games issues as we sing Auld Lang Syne. Chris Robshaw will be our guest in the studio.
Decent kick, isn't it, from James, that? Right onto the 22, prime attacking position. Manu Tuolangi just trying to find some slot. Andre Pollard pointing him out.
Van der Merwe finds Wiese. Van der Merwe again, and whoa, he took the hit from Rafael. And Liebenberg causing a little bit of confusion, but it's still blue ball, sail ball, McIntyre. Running into Harry Wells. Oh, that was the new man, Sean Janssen, with the block.
Sale get the penalty, but just a little bit of detail on the delivery of the line-out stops Manu Tuolangi getting it. Just watch the fumble as this comes out the back to Aka van der Merwe. Doesn't quite come, a little bit slow. As a result, Tuolangi was on the line. He had to just put the brakes on to not overrun it. If that comes cleanly off there, Tuolangi is barreling right into the channel he wants to. Between two defenders, it's an arm tackle. In all likelihood, he's going to make the bust.
It would have been the first time that Sale got into Leicester's 22 that he had carried. Interesting to see the angles there of Leicester's defence. All four of their defensive back line really cutting in, very tight as well. So if that guy recognises that, or they get analysis on that at half-time, you might see them start to throw longer balls over the top. Try and bring them in, make them turn, and let your back three have some opportunity out wide, because currently neither side's played any rugby. We did say they were going to cancel each other out in the pack, didn't we?
couple of Rob de Preer penalties has Sale 6-0 up, 25 minutes played. He really has reminded Al Sanderson of his qualities, Rob de Preer, over the first half of this season. He's, as you'd expect, been busy with George Ford injured, but he's really stepped up and looked every inch the world-class player that he is. Liebenberg.
How good's Watson been on those kickoffs? Wins that one fairly cleanly.
Oh, Leicester and Rafael have lost that one. And Jean-Luc de Preer brings it away. Leicester being done in the tight at the moment, Ben.
Yeah, a little bit, aren't they? You'd expect that with who's on the field. There's a lot of good jackalers, not just the Curry brothers. But Leicester might just have to run some tighter support lines and just make sure they keep their depth so players can change if the offload doesn't come.
No 5! Hold in front,
Pollard.
Rick. Thank you.
Angles it away to the right-hand side. Porter was underneath it, so was O'Flaherty. Curry to McIntyre.
Yes, thank you. Good choice.
Tom Curry goes back over the top. Sam James.
First player.
Gathered in initially by Reed.
Back in. Take it in.
Freddie Stewart. Taken back in, so he knew that he couldn't kick it directly into touch. And Moore and de Preer, and there's opportunity away to the right. Instead, they come back infield. It was read by Freddie Stewart, who castled Sale's scrum half. Manu Tuolangi, who has escaped the clutches of Guy Porter. And now opportunities. Tom O'Flaherty, Tuolangi, ball beats him.
Some good bits of play from both sides on there. First of all, just a bit of detail from Dan Cole, not getting caught in. He could easily give away the penalty on the halfway line, rolls away. As a result, Leicester still have all their bodies on the feet, and they managed to win the turnover. But then they gave it back to Sale, and some really good attacking intent from Manu Tuolangi.
It's a good turnover from Liebenberg, isn't it? But his hand went on the floor first. His initial point of springing his body weight up was his right hand onto the floor. Something that we've spoken about with the new laws. And it was really quite evident for me. I know these rucks are super fast and it's very, very tough, but if it's at the forefront of your mind, I think that's a penalty to Sale.
Just really unfortunate for Sale. Tuolangi does really well to bounce out of that tackle, get the offload away as he dragged the outside defender in.
It's a great tap tackle, wasn't it, by Potter, I think, on the outside. Because if he doesn't get that tap tackle onto O'Flaherty, then it's a simple 2-on-1 ball back to the inside. It's really good defence.
Let's see where Akker van der Merwe puts his ankles and his heels and his toes here. If I had any New Year's resolutions, any law changes, it might be that I get those toes back behind the touchline. Toes behind rather than ankles just on. Only a small thing, but it keeps me awake at night. Actually, that wasn't so bad from Akker van der Merwe. That was kind of 73 miles an hour on the motorway rather than 80, but you know what I mean. Van Portfleet taking his time to stud this one back and get some reasonable distance to O'Flaherty. Luke James, the fullback, again tonight. Jason Woodward, Joe Carpenter, both still injured. War.
That's gone as well.
It's a disappointing kick. Leicester worked so hard on this. We know it's huge part. Just look at the quality of the kick chase. One straight line. O'Flaherty with loads of grass in front of him, but by the time the pass is made, that umbrella shape in front of the ball carrier just puts a bit of pressure on, but they can't win the kicking battle. Kick straight off in the pitch. Give Akker van der Merwe an opportunity in prime position again. Last time we saw Manu Tuolangi running off one of these. Will they go wider, like Austin pointed out?
Taken by Jean-Luc Dupré. Curry off the tail of it. Ben Curry, the captain. War, Dupré, Rob Dupré, James to his brother Luke. Gus War, Rob Dupré again. There's a bit of energy about this Sale attack. Curry to another Curry. Back on their feet. Pair of them combining effectively. And Sale with a penalty, and slap bang in front of the post, and real options, and Reid takes it in. Not coming back quickly enough for Matthew Carley's liking.
There's a period there where I just thought the Currys were playing. It's like being in the back garden on Christmas Day. One to the other bounced back to his feet, got there for the offload before any of his teammates. They are so dynamic, aren't they? It's a reasonable setup play. Good carry. They try and work in the corner here. You could see Sam James running from really deep. Picks up a decent angle. And then this is the interplay. Brother to brother. He's been tackled. He gets back to his feet. He gets it back. I don't know how he got there. I reckon there's 3 of them. Are they triplets? I think they're cheating.
What do we call it? Twindaloo? Are we? I mean, it's doing the rounds, isn't it? It's doing the round. What do we think?
Really not, okay.
Ben's not happy with
It's
that.
not helpful to point at the
No, he's
screen.
miserable and he's Scrooge. Obviously didn't get anything nice.
He's in the way of the knife. It'll be the same for both sides.
I made a really nice turkey curry yesterday, by the way.
Oh, good.
Just thought you'd need to know.
9-0. All that early Leicester pressure, all those penalties conceded by Sale, but look at the score into the final 10 minutes of the first half. Rob Dupre's kicks, all the points Sale's. Sale 9, Leicester 0.
What's the chances that Anthony Watson here on the short side? He was running in the middle of the field to begin with for those kicks. Now it's obviously going down the touchline. Can't get to that one.
And instead it was Sam James reclaiming the shirt tonight from Ryan Mills, who started at Newcastle. Sam James beyond 150 Premiership games for the club now. Taken by Pollard.
Tackle! Let him go! Move out! No.
He's unhappy with the work of Nick Shonut on the ball maybe, or Johnny Hill as he got off. Shonut was the last to get up.
He just wouldn't let go, would he?
Here, just for awareness, just the players.
Soft penalty, isn't it? Just a bit of concern. Referee's going to come over and have a look at Guy Porter, just checking whether he needs to go for an HIA. We're talking to him when he was down on his own line.
Okay.
Guy Porter is heading off for an HIA. Freddie Burns an option, Chris Ashton an option. It's Ashton that they're going to bring on.
Yeah, put Potter into the midfield.
Head injury assessment, yeah.
Oh, it's a permanent change.
Okay, no problem.
There's no messing around. Guy Porter is off permanently. Leicester forced into a couple of early changes. Porter gone, Cracknell gone.
They do really well, Sale, don't they, defensively? Stop Leicester, what, 5 metres behind the gain line? Look at Shonot there. He's just got to get out of there. He's just being a nuisance and then sticks in. Gets pulled in a bit.
Hill, isn't it? Hill pulls Van Poortvliet in just as he was about to bend over to pick it up.
Wies was up making a nuisance, but Leicester ball, and this is one of the early replacements. Sean Jansen, the Kiwi.
Backwards, play on, backwards!
Ben Curry,
Ball is out.
very nearly.
That's a knock on.
Quality of the tackling, Tuolangi there
Some advantage.
on Potter.
It's on if they go wide here.
Dupré going wide to Reid and James. Just a bit more zip about Sale's work at the moment, particularly in defence, leading to moments like this. And Curry, Tom Curry, popped off the floor to Shonut. McIntyre Escapes the clutches of Chesham. Ben Curry. James. Oh, a lovely ball. Went beyond the defence, got beyond Pollard, found Reed, and then a running James back to Reed. Reed, oh, in the tackle away to O'Flaherty. Sharp sail. Try sail.
That's fantastic play. James's pass is sublime. Leicester a little bit short on numbers. They stay narrow and he fires one across. Here's the turnover. Curry getting through to Van Poortvliet, dislodging it from the arm, and then in comes Manu Tuilagi with a hit that also knocks the ball away. And then there's that ball from James. Reed does really well to hold up, a little bit slow the support there, but they don't panic. Reed gets back on it and offloads as he feels his ankle's getting chopped from behind him. Great talk, great communication. Look at the way he just holds up, buys time for James in the wide channel, gets it back, and then O'Flaherty lets him know he's there. He just lifts it up. It's a really, really good score.
His fourth Premiership try of the season for his new club, 21 previously for Exeter.
As Benny said, it was a brilliant pass from Sam James. Not just the timing of it, but just how many defenders he takes out. Look, there's 3 defenders in front of him, all outside shoulder to him, so he's got to throw the ball 14, 15 metres off his left hand. That is absolutely brilliant. Watson does well to come back and cover, but such good offloading and support play. Reed's final one's brilliant for O'Flaherty to score. As you said, Nick, Sale have come alive in the last 5-10 minutes. Deserved that 16-point lead.
Taken by the fullback, Luke James. And Reed, who had a full part to play in the try. Freddie Stewart, Leicester with some rebalancing to do, some redigging.
They're getting smashed at the gain line, Nick. That's why they can't get any multi-phase. They can't get multi-phase. They don't go off slow balls. They go straight to the kick.
O'Flaherty again.
Ball was out.
Oh, what an offload from McIntyre.
And now Visa, and now Akker van der Merwe. And Sailor in full voice here.
Pollard just disrupting on the floor, backed up by Liebenberg. Sailor going to get it back though.
Curry, Dupree, James, again another one out of the very top draw. O'Flaherty, Tuilagi in support, Luke James in support, Gus Moore across. Leicester in full retreat here. McIntyre, however, temporarily held up. Visa, Colbus Visa, War, Jean-Luc Dupree.
Good choice.
Rob Dupree keeping the spaces, keeping the options open away to the right. It is to the left, however, and Manu Tuilagi. Visa, hold on to it long. Dupree. Van der Merwe, he tried to rush it, and but for the little slip, you might have had money on Chris Ashton.
Not clear.
He'd have been in a sprint with Luke James.
I'm not sure who would have caught him there, Nick, if he hadn't have stumbled. Would have been good to see if there was 80 metres left in those old legs. We know he's still got pace. Has he got pace over 80 metres? Leicester are on the ropes, aren't they?
Luke James. Janssen with the tackle. Ben Curry.
I think there's a lesson for Sale though. They are on the ropes, Leicester, but not when Sale run headlong and make an easy big shot for the Leicester tacklers. That's bread and butter for Leicester.
Yeah. Sale have looked at their best when they've gone wide.
When they made that initial break though, they went back to trying to batter their way over the line, going straight into double tackles, and they lost a bit of momentum.
Stewart.
No.
Do you think Alex Sanderson, if it stays like this, Nick, at half-time, will remind his team that last week we were 14-0 up at half-time and we lost?
6, stop now, 6!
A well-formed part of the chat. They've done so many other things so well, though, haven't particularly that, the physicality, just the effort, at the breakdown in defence initially over the first 10-15 minutes to keep Leicester at bay, keep them pointless, and then what they've done since.
Well, if Leicester are going to get back into this game, they've either got to carry better and start winning some gain line collisions. There's another one that they've lost. Or they've got to start playing wide off slow ball.
Sam James, taken on by Chesson. War. Passage blocked by Wells. Curry. Dupree. Luke James.
Yeah, just Sale side. Yeah.
Sale happy just to put an extra bit of width on those passes to see what's doing slightly further out. They've scored one try off it. Hill. Dupree, really nice, and Sam James again. Oh, off the floor, one-handed to Tuolangi. Sam James once more offering himself. Clip through, Reed chasing. It might be Reed. It might be Reed. Oh, and he's not gathered it.
I think he's got it, hasn't he?
Well, he's celebrating. He's not celebrating necessarily like a man who is totally sure.
Just the control definitely gets his hands to it.
What a lovely try if he has.
It's a brilliant kick from Sam James. Look at this, just puts it on the left peg. Here's the big question now. Does he get a hand or a shoulder on it? Oh, the shape of the ball.
It's only got to be the torso, hasn't it? Any part of the torso.
That's a
Does he
try
knock it
for
on
me.
there?
No, I think that's a try.
Hands. It's whether it touches his hands or it just hits straight with his torso. I think a hand touches that.
I think that's a try.
Knock on.
Do you? I think his hand touches it and then it rolls over his forearm.
If his hand touches it, it goes forward, doesn't it?
Yeah, he has to push it down.
No, but
as long as he's touched it before as long as he's touched it over the goal line down, it's a try.
Well, I think maybe if he has touched it, he's touched it before the goal line, because it's the elbow that
potentially ground it with his torso. Knock on first. Where's the ball there? No, the ball. All I can see is the ball travelling forwards there, Claire. The ball, for me, doesn't go backwards at any point.
Just bear with me, Matthew.
I think the try is scored by his elbow, if the try is scored.
But I think he knocks it on first, doesn't he? Just the fingers touch it.
But there's any separation. I think that's a try.
Even if he grounds it with his elbow, has to be
just from the shape of the grass. I think you look at the ball, there's downward pressure on the ball all the way through over the try line.
I think his elbow touched it, but I think he knocks it with his hands first.
Claire Hodnick, Timo.
Matthew, I think the ball goes forward first and he doesn't get any downward pressure.
Never has possession. And then never gains control. So even though he hits it down with his grounds it with potentially with his elbow or his torso, it's a knock on first.
Knock on first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is time up, or do we have time for the scrum?
No, time looks like it is still time
no
for the scrum.
It's a knock on. It's a scrum.
Close.
I think it's really close. I understand the reasoning that the officials have given, but I don't think his hand actually leaves the ball. I think he touches it with his hand, and then it rolls down his arm onto his forearm, and then it's over the try line. So, is that a knock on if the ball's already on the ground? I'm not so sure. I think his hand touches it now. It doesn't leave his hand. It then goes to his clear separation.
Yeah, I think the separation.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, time's off.
I agree with you too. I haven't watched it again.
Well, here he comes.
That was really important to us, thanks.
That's okay, happy Christmas. Didn't get you anything, so that was your present.
I just think when Aaron Reed got up, he didn't celebrate like a man who'd scored a wonder try, did he? I think he probably knew.
What we didn't see, because we were doing that, was how quickly the ball came off the floor at the previous ruck, popped up to Gus Waugh. That's what they've been doing really well. So Leicester can't get their defensive line in place. Gus Waugh went to look to the open side, had loads of time, so came back down the blind side, and that's when James put the kick through.
Well, it looks as if Leicester are going to go through a first half of rugby without scoring a point for the first time since the Heineken Champions Cup quarter-final against Leinster at Welford Road back in May last season.
Bind! Set!
Hard to imagine there'll be too much ambition from this. Really bright Leicester start. Even brighter Sale finish. They've scored the only try. A beauty from him, from Tom O'Flaherty. Rob de Preer has kicked his kicks, and at half-time, deservedly, Sale lead Leicester by 16 points to 0. Looks like they're on the terraces. I knew it was tough to get a ticket tonight, but good to see the big boys mingling with us mortals. Sharks in total control in that first half. Leicester could do with a bigger boat, as somebody once said. And they made a change, an interesting one, because Freddie Burns is on. Anthony Watson, the right wing, has been replaced, so we'll see what that means to the shape of Leicester's backline. Andre Pollard may shift, Freddie Burns may shift. What do you reckon, Oz?
May just mean a lot more kicking unless Watson's injured. Wasn't the best start for him, knocking on the restart. Got away with it though.
Looks like Freddie Stewart has gone out onto the wing, and Freddie Burns might be at fullback. Pollard certainly seems to be the fly half still. Anyway. Harry Potter has gone to outside centre, so a major rebuild of Leicester's backline at half-time. And a minor one as well when Guy Porter went off in the first half. We are chasing to see if Anthony Watson is injured or whether that's just a tactical change. We're going to have a word with Howard Walters at some point in the second half, so if we haven't heard by then, we'll ask him. James was grateful for the support of Gus Waugh.
So not particularly hard at Sale's breakdown. Opportunity there for Ollie Chesham. Deliberately didn't even attempt one. Also trying to keep bodies on the feet. Maybe they're slightly worried about how well Sale played when they could get numbers free on the wider channels. Maybe just trying to keep more bodies on their feet. Create a wider defensive line.
Hearing, by the way, that Anthony Watson is injured. That's the reason that he's with us, Freddie Burns. Pollard tries to give it some width, and Kelly ran into a very dark alleyway. And Sale have ripped it back nicely. Kick from the Curry, who didn't win the ball back, ricocheted off Leicester hands, and Leicester have possession.
Onside. Use it.
Big shot from Stewart. Really anywhere for James to go there. Did well to stay on the field.
Right, use it. Do not dummy.
No dummy, sir.
Not the box kick everyone was expecting. It would break down that blind side from Waugh and O'Flaherty combining really nicely.
Tom Curry. It's getting news of the Joe Marler disciplinary hearing decision. We'll bring you that once we have a break in play.
Chance here for Reid to chip and chase. It's really opened up, hasn't it, compared to what we saw in the first half. Sale come out and realised, actually, when they put the ball through their hands, they're very dangerous. They're not trying to just counter Leicester's box-kicking game. Having said that, they're going to box-kick now.
Use it! Behind the ball, thank you.
Burns underneath it. Van Portfleet. Once again, Sale's first up tackling. Tenacity of their defending is quality at the moment. And in the end, Jack Van Portfleet just happy to kick long and find Luke James, who employs Gus Waugh.
Can someone kick out? Because I want to find out what's happened to Marler. That's a good nudge.
Scorer of the game's only try so far, and it was a cracker. Aaron Reid very nearly scored the second, but just a slight knock on as he took the ball over the try line just before half-time.
Use it!
Harry Wells challenge for the ball. Harry gets it, that's nicely done, and this is Johnny Hill. It's been a busy start to this second half. Ben Curry drives on. Concerned that he might have done himself some harm midway through that first half, but he's come through unscathed and continues to motor around. Burns took that above his head and takes the hit as well from Hill.
He spun just at the crucial moment before Tuolangi went through his kidneys.
Van Portfleet. Freddie Stewart now on the left wing, chasing hard. Luke James. Tackled by Pollard. Waugh flicks it away to Dupree. Dupree took it back in field. He was tackled and then dropped it and picked it up again.
Almost bounced it up to himself, didn't he?
Dupree, intercepted, and Pollard, he needs to sprint hard, otherwise James is going to get across, but Pollard scores. First Premiership start for Leicester and his first Premiership try. He didn't look entirely comfortable with the ball, but he's scored.
Well, there's concern from his teammates who certainly didn't have that top gear, did he? Couldn't put the foot down. Had enough to get there, reads the play really well against his compatriot. Gets into the eye line, sticks a hand out, bats it up to himself.
Just making sure he's not dummying at the base. It was better.
Maybe just a bit of confusion for Rob Dupree by the two runners on similar lines, and tries to put it behind Johnny Hill, and Pollard just steps through, bats it up, but didn't look like he had the full 5 gears, did he?
Said it's a nervous tick.
Yeah, well,
looked like he was in low range.
Free kick if he's not careful.
Well, whatever his top gear was, it was just enough to see off a rapidly closing Sam James. Pollard's first kick for Leicester. He'll assume that his second is slightly more accurate.
A bit disappointing, but won't be disappointed with this. Crucial for Leicester at this moment in the game. Hadn't started the second half much brighter than they ended the first, and this just gives them that easy shot back into the game and a bit of a foothold, a little bit of pressure on the home side.
Taken by Chess, and all of a sudden a little bit of a different complexion to this match. We're still waiting to bring you the news of Joe Marler. We're aware of that, but we're concentrating on the rugby for the time being.
Thank you.
Clipped away by Jack Van Portfleet. Rob Dupree, this will go high.
Good kick, using the wind against him just to hold it up in the air.
Use it!
Harry Wells gets it away. We're going to have a word with Alan Walters in a minute. Head of physical performance for Leicester. It'll be fascinating to get his view on what we've seen so far. He'll be marginally happier than he was a few minutes ago with the Pollard try. We'll find out shortly. Rob Dupree once again. Continues to be a game where The kick's king.
Taken in, taken in, taken in.
Burns and Van Portfleet swapping passes. Ball has been in play an awful lot in this second half. Gus Waugh holds on to a pass that wasn't the most sympathetic.
Oh, that's a missed opportunity for Leicester. The kick's brilliant from Van Portfleet. Ashton and Cole arrive at the same time, almost getting each other's way. But Leicester had created a turnover opportunity they just couldn't execute.
Let's have a chat with Allard Walters. You look for a little bit of fortune, Allard, sometimes, don't you, to just to turn the tide. Was that the fortune you were looking for?
Yeah, you're quite right. I think in matches against Sale, they're typically like test matches, aren't they? So a little bit of fortune goes a long way. But I think with the endeavour of the first half, we were deserving of some points anyway. So very happy to get that try.
The boys up here with me, Benny Kay and Austin Healy, we're just looking at the gain line and seeing how hard Sale were hitting in that area of the game. Is that something you looked at?
Yeah, definitely. We're always going to expect that. The physicality is never anything but huge against Sale anyway. So that's something we have to compete with. We have to get on top with, and it's a challenge for our forwards, really. Anyway, well, it's a challenge for our entire team.
It's a more general rugby question, but how do you add rhythm, momentum to your game when you've not really got that much front foot ball?
Oh, geez, you'll have to ask someone who knows something about rugby about that one anyway. But I tell you that we enjoy having those long passages, and I think that's something that hopefully will turn in our favour a bit now anyway, our ability to run.
You're certainly having to make some changes. We've just seen Andre Pollard come off and Ben Young's come on. You're putting formations out in the back line that I can't imagine you've trained very often with.
Oh, I don't know. You don't know the strategy of Richard Wigglesworth. It was always a plan.
Great talking, Alan. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Nick.
Curry, meantime. Ben Curry. And here's the other Curry, Tom Curry. They have been a couple of side plates next to each other over the course of this match so far. Waugh, again, the speed of that ball away to Dupree.
Freddie Burns is limping badly now. He stayed down. Leicester really struggling in the backs with injuries. He's actually had to sit down. He's out of play, Freddie Burns.
He needs to get back to his feet and defend.
Waugh, James, and now Luke James, and skips through, and it's an important tackle from Harry Potter. Visa. Freddie Burns is in an awful lot of pain. He's limping and he's moving, but he's in no shape to make a defensive tackle here. It's a limping Freddie Burns against Manu Tuolangi. It was no competition in the end. Van Portfleet stood up to him.
Brilliant from Kelly.
And now Curry. And Leicester again on red alert. Picked up by McIntyre. Scores. Sale reasserts some dominance against the limping Leicester.
Fantastic positioning from referee Matt Carley, because he could have got blindsided and not seen that the ball had touched the grass. There was a leg underneath it, but he was right in there. But brilliant play from Sale. As you said, Freddie Burns in a lot of pain. He couldn't get over. The cover's really good from Kelly to get across and make that scoop back tackle on his opposite number as Van Portfleet came in, but the tide was turning all the way towards Sale with the power carry from Curry. Doesn't quite get there. Chesham just stops him, but McIntyre picks, looks for his spot on the grass, finds it, and Matt Carley's right on the spot.
Fair play to Freddie Burns. He got back to his feet and he tried to get out there, but of all the players you want to see running at you when you've just come up from what looks like a bad ankle injury, Manu Tuolangi, brilliant tackle from Kelly to stop him in the first instance, but then the carry from Curry and then the finish from McIntyre. They're looking strong, Sale, aren't they?
And the face of a man who's just scored his first ever Premiership try for Sale, a career that began here, took him to Wasps and has brought him back here, and now he's a Premiership try scorer. And Rob Dupree at the moment is the Premiership's highest point scorer this season. He's edged ahead of Paddy Jackson this evening. Really impressed with Rob Dupree again tonight. Seven-point score. Sale 23, Leicester 5.
Leicester have just brought on their two prop replacements. I don't think they're going to be standing in for Freddie Burns, who's still getting a lot of treatment. I'm not sure he's going to be able to continue. So it might have to be Gabe Ogray, who is also coming on, who sticks into the back line.
Probably best to play him at inside centre. Difficult position to defend at, but...
My goodness, Leicester have taken some collateral damage tonight. Gabe Ogray on, but they've lost Watson, Porter, Cracknell, and now Freddie Burns to injury. And they are having to mix and match in a major way, and where you can see for yourself that does not look good. In the meantime, they've changed their entire front row as well. Promise, as soon as the ball goes out of play, and it's not off the back of a try, I'll bring you news of Joe Marler's ban. War, Jean-Luc Dupré.
Right, use it!
Ogray, who we know can play as a hooker, can play in the back row, is playing in midfield by the looks of it. He's going to have to play as a back. Youngs and Burns and Ashton all brought off the bench before Burns' injury. Gus Wars hurt himself, took a bang to the ribs, but he's back with us now.
Physicality just fighting for every inch. Curry there on the floor with Potter.
They got no shape, Leicester, now, though. The shape's completely gone. What shape they did have before.
Use it.
They've got Van Portfleet, I think, playing at 10. They're going to have to find a strange way back into this game.
Luke James catches Harry Wells off balance, and then O'Flaherty, hopeful Wahe back in field. Here's Lea Tinunga, one of the recent arrivals off the Leicester bench. And then Leicester have a penalty. Right then, Joe Marler, you will remember, called before a disciplinary hearing first thing this morning for what he said to Jake Heenan last weekend. The game you may well have seen with us here on BT Sport led to a huge fight. He has been banned for 6 weeks, but 4 of those weeks are suspended, so he's been banned for 2 weeks. And I'm going to read you the quotes of the panel chairman, Gareth Graham, because they are strong. Joe Marler accepted that his conduct was prejudicial to the interests of the game. This is what Gareth Graham says. As has been said by previous rugby disciplinary panels, rugby's core values are not empty words or slogans which can be signed up to and then ignored. They are not to be treated as useful bolt-ons dreamt up by a marketing team. They are integral to the game and are what make the game special. The insulting and offensive comments made by the player were wholly inappropriate. Such comments should form no part of the modern game. So Joe Marler, a 4-week suspended ban, a 2-week ban, so he'll miss the next fortnight, having admitted to the comments that he made to Bristol's back rower Jake Heenan. What do we make of that?
I don't know. Look, I think... let's see, it hasn't gone to touch, so let's come back to that.
Hold, Jono, stop. Thank you. You're milking it.
Just to confirm those sale changes while we were giving you the Joe Marler news, and one of them is Joe Simpson.
Come on.
15 years as a Premiership player, coming to an end finally this evening. This is his 223rd final match before retirement. Ben Young's 33-year-old scrum half, Joe Simpson 34-year-old. Luke James going under Leicester's defensive radar for a moment or two.
Use it!
Simpson.
Wait.
All those years with Wasps, making his name. Taken by Freddie Stewart. Leicester having a complete backline rebuild either side of half-time. So much so that they've got a forward now, Gabe Ogre, playing in that backline.
Yes! Positive ground for Leicester, first time in the 22 really in this half. You've got to think, right, if you're thrown into the middle of it, into that 10 shirt as JVP is, and Ogre in the midfield, what are you going to do? Do you open the game up and make it super loose, or do you just try and force territory and mistakes?
Just so you're up to speed.
I wonder what messages he's getting on now.
Hang on, there's a replacement, Time's off.
I appreciate that you boys are just digesting the news as we are, but they're as strong a condemnation of a player from a disciplinary committee as I've ever heard.
Agree, but 4 weeks suspended, quite a lot of them suspended, so it's one of those instances that only gets flagged up because he said it to the wrong person who it meant a lot to at the moment with his personal circumstances. Otherwise, he probably would have got away with it. But we need to stamp this sort of thing out of the game, particularly with the mental health, have a bit more time to talk about it in the middle of the game. And that's why it detracts from, we're watching a cracking game here, talking about something else.
Leicester with the penalty.
Ball's out.
Cobus Visa picked out by Matthew Carley.
With Leicester's disruption, you'd imagine that their target for getting back into this game, they're not going to have many moves off line-outs that these players have, despite what Aled Walters said, have run in training in these specific positions. So you'd expect them to try and go back to the forward pack a little bit. Didn't work particularly well in those first 20 minutes. Great technique from Tommy Raffelt.
I just think if they did try and overcomplicate that first play, ball went to floor, it could have been kicked through by Flaherty, you could have seen yourself on the back of 7 points. Simplify it, get the ball off the top, put it into someone's hands, Dan Kelly or Ogre, carry into the midfield and play wrap patterns. You can play a wrap pattern and make ground, you're going to do okay. That's not a bad start.
Ben Youngs to Hayes. Leicester trying to put some shape on this. But I think we can all understand just how hard this is, given the changes that they've had to make.
Yeah, really difficult, but not when you're around the ruck like that. That's actually quite an easy scenario. You've had a really good initial carry from the line out. You've got over the tackle line, over the gain line, and then it's been slowed down significantly by Sale. You've just got to keep ploughing on with your forwards.
What Leicester have probably lost more than the individual skill sets is the voices on the field, those people that tend to run the show. So tell the forwards which way around the corner to go. They need those leaders, the Hanro Liebenbergs, the Ben Youngs now, to step up and say, look, this is how we're playing. Simplify things, forget about what we trained necessarily all week. We've got to go to patterns that we can just get some momentum into the game. Maybe just simplify some of the options. It's going to be hard. It would have been a big challenge to get back from this many points down with a full complement, but with so many leaders, so many key players missing.
Tom Curtis, 21-year-old with roots in these parts, is on for Manu Tuolangi. Manu Tuolangi, incidentally, having a week off before this one, recovering from a bang to the face that required some pretty painful stitches in his mouth, but he has come through 60 minutes this evening and leaves with his side in a pretty decent position against his former mates.
A real challenge from Leicester's front row.
Just looking at JVP playing in the 10 shirt, the difference. If you have a close look at this, he's never done it before, but watch his body position. His natural inclination is moving outwards, but he moves back to the ball. See the little shuffle? That's his natural instinct to go back to the breakdown as a scrum half. What he should be doing is shouting at these forwards, get in front of me, move forward, take the carry, take the carry. It's so difficult to move from 9 to 10 and your mind not to be able to immediately switch into being a fly half. But if they're going to win, he's going to have to do it. You've got to realise that's not your job anymore, it's someone else's. But instinct takes over, Nick. It's such a weird sensation when you're on the field when it happens to you.
Yeah, Leicester with Ben Youngs at scrum half, Van Poortvliet at fly half, Kelly at inside centre, O'Gray at outside centre, and they have a penalty.
Good from the
cross on the angle.
referee actually penalises McIntyre there. Just wondered if it was going to go against Curry for pushing Liebenberg back into the scrum, holding him, his opposite number on that side, but referee unhappy with something earlier. This should, if Van Poorvliet can hit it well, I was going to say, should give Leicester that field position for that line-out drive, but what's that, over 10 metres out? Yeah.
I'd have kicked the 3 there. I'd have kicked the 3 and then kicked field position again. They've got the wind at their backs, right in front of the posts, nudge it over, put another few points on the board.
Simon McIntyre can head off and celebrate his first ever Premiership try for Sale. He's replaced by Ross Harrison. And Leicester, meantime, in adversity, trying to shove hard. Ben Youngs has possession. Kelly, and then Van Poorvliet, and then clipped through by Stewart. Asking too much of Chris Ashton.
22.
Taken quickly, O'Flaherty will chase this. Stewart, a little look over his left shoulder. He's got Potter to the right, but Stewart's right boot was the option. Dupree. Been one or two of those tonight.
Over that side of the pitch as well.
A little bit more.
Can we do that, sir? Can we throw it across in the flex?
That'll do, yeah.
That's not really a useful question, is it?
Not just the attack,
Not,
but
is it?
roles have changed defensively for Leicester. We've got Gabe O'Gray
Captain.
with Jack Van Poorvliet inside.
We've had a really good working relationship. This player's come on the field and thinks that he wants to be the captain. Now, make your mind up, guys.
Sorry, sir.
Thank you, no worries.
Sorry about that.
Here we are, time on.
Ticking off for Joe Hayes from Matthew Carley. This is Ewan Ashman. Early try as a starter last weekend against Newcastle off a line-out drive. That flicked off the top of the line-out. Ben Curry drives it up the middle. Sam James. Oh, it's potential for another interception, but Leicester offside.
It's Ashton himself offside.
Never got back on.
Yeah, it's the right decision.
You, 23.
Well spotted, here he is. There's the last man in the defensive line. He only needs to go 2 more yards.
No.
The touch judge on this near side, Greg McDonald, quickly onto his walkie-talkie.
Interesting.
So Ashman's throw, instructions from Harrison. Visa hoisted high, is down very quickly. Tommy Raffel just off the ball, offering a different defensive perspective. Penalty on the way.
Penalty advantage, 18, changing binds.
Penalty against Joe Hayes. Simpson. Oh, Curtis holding on to it nicely, and James scoring a peach.
That is brilliant. They might have to check whether it was forward or not, but what a sensational offload.
Dropped Dupree, isn't it? Just holds that fraction of a second, lets the Leicester defensive line bypass him, and then puts it behind his tackler. Little show and go, Kelly
That's
goes.
Forward. Oh, that is such a shame. It's a forward pass. Look how it comes out of his hand.
Matthew,
That is a nightmare, because that would have been a brilliant try.
You need to overturn your on-field decision.
Yeah, definitely looks
So you're going to
like
show
the
me a
hand
clear forward pass.
That's what he's been doing so well all season, that little pump of the ball. Pump of the ball, then make a decision governed by what the defence do. Look at Kelly's back. Kelly turns his back on him.
It's only Kelly retreating, isn't it?
Yeah.
If Kelly stays on the same line, he delivers that pass and it's a worldie of a try. Kelly just turns his back and then steps back towards his own goal line, and that means he just has to put a little bit more forward movement on it.
This shows you. Look at Kelly's body angle. He turns his back and he's running backwards now. He knows where the offload's going into James's hands. Like you said, because he's running backwards, he can't get the ball around his body without throwing it forward. But that's what Dupree has been doing so well this year.
He's been good, hasn't he? Really stepped up.
And in 2 weeks, they'll move him to centre.
Yeah.
But that's what his problem was last year. He played in about 4 different positions.
Yep. So then Sale driving from the line out. It's a penalty try.
Could be a yellow card as well. Can he
20.
see? Well, if he knows it's 20, it has to be a yellow card.
20. 20. Number 20. 20. Number?
Sean Jansen.
20, side entry.
This is getting grisly for Leicester. It's a wonderful end to the year for Sale.
It's rare you get done for side entry for a penalty try. Jansen's the guy in the headband that you saw there. He does come in from the side on 2 occasions, but I don't think he's the guy that collapses it. I think it's probably Liebenberg that collapses it. There he is from the side there with Rafael. It's hard done by. It's not him bringing it down.
It's Rafael, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sale have made a change. Johnny Hill has beavered around all evening. He's been replaced by Josh Beaumont. And now Luke James, Joe Simpson calling for it. Dupree, Sale suddenly going for a bonus point securing try.
Tackle!
Harrison brought down on halfway. Here is Beaumont. Dupree. Well, Hayes was up quickly, but some space opening up all of a sudden. And then Byron McGuigan off in search of that 4th try. So many numbers. One of them is Joe Simpson. That went forwards. That's butchered.
It is absolutely butchered. Sam James is on fire. Absolute fire. Quality of this pass as the hit comes in. Delivers it perfectly. Creates the 2-on-1 on the outside. The speed of McGuigan initially, but then he's got to find support. It's a 4-on-2 in Leicester's backfield there. Brilliant timing. It's got the pace to get round Rafael.
I saw the replay. It looked like you were never onside.
Ewan Ashman was up in support, Benny, and by the time he got it, it was too late.
Simpson as well, screaming for it to be put
Still going on about
just over the top of Gabe Ogre.
how quick he is.
You mentioned about James and his quality of his attacking play today. When he gets this ball, the way he isolates Chris Ashton's really good. He just eyeballs him, so he has to step in, he has to bite in. All credit to Ashton, though. Look at his work rate and his pace. He's the guy that gets back and makes the scrag tackle and then leads to the knock-on. Good defensive work rate. I think James has been brilliant in the midfield today. That long pass, the first try.
It's good defence from Stewart there, just to tread water in the outside channel and then turn and race enough just to put the doubt in McGuigan's mind about throwing that pass to Ashman. But Sale cutting Leicester apart.
Harry Wells off, Callum Green on for his 100th game as a Tiger.
Second time through the mark. Second time. Not necessary. Move away when there's a penalty. Enough.
Callum Green's 100 games for Leicester, split over 2 spells, of course. Time at Newcastle in between, but he's up to the century now.
Jono, stay there. Okay, good.
Helping to hoist Liebenberg skyward. Kelly. O'Gray. O'Gray in midfield. If you've recently joined us, all manner of disruption to that Leicester backline caused by injuries to a whole host of players. I'll run down the list when I have time.
Thank you, onside.
So much so that this man, Jack Van Portfleet, now having to operate as a fly half. Oh, he does well to find a galloping Potter. A galloping Chesson was to his right. Potter came the other way and was hunted by Simpson.
Oh, it's a penalty to Sale.
Just couldn't get his hands free enough to free O'Gray. And as a result, I think that was still in his mind when he fell. He felt himself isolated, didn't release, got back up, gives away the penalty, but good break. Chesham hasn't quite got the pace on the outside to keep up, but O'Gray's runs a great line here, but just can't find him and then never releases the ball. O'Gray's been a bundle of energy since he came on, hasn't he? Maybe helps when you're not having to do your usual role of scrummaging and mauling.
Yeah, it's only his second game for the club. He made his debut on Christmas Eve against Gloucester. 5 years with Wasps. I was talking to Matt Everard before the match, who's now Leicester's fully qualified, fully fledged defence coach, given the absence of Kevin Sinfield, once of Wasps himself. He's talking about how strange it is to see so many players who were once at Wasps, so many coaches who were once at Wasps, earning livings elsewhere. O'Gray one of them, Matt Everard another. Simpson was at Wasps before the Troubles.
First player on his feet.
Oh, Leicester have it. And O'Gray with that loose ball. Kicks it away, O'Flaherty chases back. He's got 3 Leicester players to have a look at. And they chased hard, and Green was leading that chase, and they'll have the line out.
Alex Sanderson might just want a little bit more shape at times from his team. They're cutting Leicester apart, they're finding opportunities in the wide channel, but then it's just a little bit loose at times, just feeding Leicester slightly.
Green calling the line out, and it was to him, and Youngs behind Hayes to O'Gray. It's not been easy to get beyond the game line for Leicester today. Sale's defence, drilled by Mike Forshaw, has been resolute. Right now it's Harrison. Van Portfleet, Clare, dropped. Oz, what have you got?
Well, just looking back to that break, we talk a lot about cheat lines from scrum halves, and this guy is more experienced than any of them on the field. But you look where he starts behind the ball in the perfect position as a cheat line for a 9, but he just overruns the play ever so slightly, only by about 5 metres in the end, to get the offload from Potter. Potter looks for the support line. O'Gray runs back on the inside of him, and then he gets done on the turnover. And Young's 206 Premiership appearances for Leicester. Some go in that, isn't it?
He therefore breaks the record for backs. Geordie Murphy previously. Dan Cole still ahead of both of them.
I think with how this game's panned out, they'd be a little bit disappointed, Alex Sanderson, if they don't get the bonus point here. They've been creating attacking opportunities. They've been good against a team that's not been at their best, but also been weakened.
Curtis. Dupree hunted by O'Gray. Backwards off a Leicester hand. However, the whistle of Matthew Carley. Been a bit sketchy of late in the Premiership for Sale. They've won 2 and lost 3. Mixed reviews in Europe. John O'Ross this week telling the squad not to be derailed by all of that, to remember what they've been trying to do to keep the faith, and we have seen that tonight in spoonfuls. Really impressive, and Sam James has been as impressive as anybody. His clearing kick.
I'd rather be in Sale's position and in Leicester's position at this stage of the season. You know, they're going to pick up at least 4 points here.
Thank you, that's fine.
Take them to 37 points. Still in second spot. You know, their set piece has been their Achilles heel so far, but you can't play against them with a power game because they will match you.
Ben Curry off a line out won by Josh Beaumont. Cobus Wiese continues to run hard and powerfully, and Sale continue to find spaces out wide. Luke James clipped through. Leicester ball, held on to it.
Oh, he's done it for not getting back to his feet. Oh, it's sealing off.
On the floor.
He's been good as well, hasn't he, Luke James at the back. He can get to his feet there, but he doesn't, and therefore everybody goes over the top of him.
It's Potter, isn't it? Just goes onto his elbows.
Is it Stewart he does in the end?
No, he does,
it doesn't do Stewart.
Does Potter for putting his chest on Stewart and on his elbows there.
Yeah.
Sale searching for a fourth and bonus point winning try. Wiese again. Industrious tonight, Cobus Wiese. And now Ewan Ashman. Not sure they're going to stop this, Leicester. Ashman scores, and it will be the perfect end to 2022 for some resurgent Sharks. 4 tries at home, and they're seeing off the champions.
Oh, what a way to do it for them as well. We knew this area of the game was going to be big. They held Leicester out at this end of the field at the beginning of the match with 4 attempts at the driving maul. And right at the end, they come up with a penalty try on a driving maul, and then they done it over themselves with Ashman this time. As soon as they got set, they looked in a strong position, then they just had to go looking for where Leicester were weak.
Tries good, Matthew.
Penalty had already been given away, advantage being played before Ashman dotted it over. And the perfect end to a pretty perfect evening for Sale.
Well, they are moving to within 5 points of Saracens at the top of the table. Sarah is home to Exeter tomorrow.
Really has been the perfect end for 2022 for Sale, their owners, their coaching staff, their players.
Yeah, okay.
An almost full house here at the, I think we're called the Salford City Stadium now.
Yep.
And it's exactly what you want, isn't it? A game against the champions where you virtually nil them, you get a bonus point and you play some attractive rugby with also a bit of biff. I think they'll be delighted with where they are. And then to start 2023, you've got George Ford coming back from injury and Rafi Quirk. Talk about Christmas presents.
There's been some decent performances tonight. I think Ben Curry's been fantastic, giving them that initial go forward. Rob Dupree, he's been outstanding as well, his delivery, his game management, but the standout for me is Sam James. Every little break has revolved around him, whether that be a little kick through, the long flat passes. Sam James is our Gallagher Premiership Player of the Match.
I'm sure it's no coincidence, but every time we see Sale playing well, Sam James plays well. There'll be good reason why he hasn't won international caps, but his club really couldn't care. He's done a fine job for them down the years, and he's done another one tonight. Stewart for Leicester.
Yeah, ball's out.
They have another northerly trek to Newcastle next Saturday. Final game in the Premiership before back into Europe. Claremont and Ospreys in the Champions Cup for Leicester. Toulouse and Ulster for Sale. O'Grey. Simpson.
Oh, well played.
Off his knees. Nice. Final minute or so of his Premiership career. Luke James sprints hard. There might be more here. Ben Curry. He's held on to by Dan Kelly. Harrison. Curtis. Now McGuigan. And now Curry. Tom Curry. Oof. If that had gone to hand, that might well have been the fairy tale end for Simpson.
Wasn't it just worth the 50-50 pass, wasn't it?
Ashton. Oh, they might get another go. Sale will get the scrum. Should nothing come of this. a lot might come of it. Ashman barging through. Simpson, go on your own, Joe. Oh no, he passes it, understandably. Sale have a fifth, Rob de Preer have a fifth, and this lot will belt out Old Lang Syne with extra special gusto tomorrow night.
And Leicester just want this to finish. Errors at the back, but Ashman does really well to keep his cool, and then gets the leg drive going forward towards the line. That narrows up Leicester's defensive line, and I think everyone in the stadium was screaming when this is missed by Van Poortvliet. Ashman trucks it up, Leicester get narrow, and everyone is screaming, all the hands pointing to Joe Simpson where it needs throwing. And a nice, easy run in for Rob de Preer to put the icing on the cake.
What was the last thing you did as a professional rugby player, Dad? Well, I threw a 30-metre pass off my left hand for a try in the last seconds of a game. You've been drinking again, Dad? Oh, no, actually.
It's not the last thing he does.
I hope he kicks it.
The entire Sale bench are on the pitch applauding him. I've never seen anything like this. Off it goes. Come on, Joe! It's not been a bad career, nonetheless, but it ends here for Joe Simpson. But so much to look forward to for Sale. A record Premiership win against Leicester, their biggest ever against Leicester. Some way for them to say goodbye to the year. Leicester will remember 2022 with fond memories, with brilliant memories of Twickenham back in the summer, but it's not the best way to finish it for them. Final score here in Cheshire is of a big win for the hosts. Sale 40, Leicester 5.